Welcome, everybody. My name is Craig Collins. I'm with Sierra Pacific Mortgage. As always, I'm joined with Trish May of Keller Williams, and together we are the American Dream real estate home buying team. Today we have our guest, Marcia Patterson. Marcia is our expert in the insurance world. Myself and Trish, Marcia is the first person we refer to all of our clients for help with homeowners insurance, and she's our go-to with any insurance questions as well. I guess just to get things started, Marcia, can you kind of just bring us up to speed with any changes or what we're seeing going on in the insurance world?
Yeah, of course. So because of everything that's been happening with 2020 and COVID, insurance rates are going up and down because people aren't leaving their homes much, and a lot of people are staying at home. When they buy new homes, inspections are a lot less. They're a lot less invasive. So instead of having to talk to somebody and have them walk around your home, which it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen quite often, it's just an exterior quick look just to make sure that your home is insured for 100% replacement cost if something does happen to it. So that's a huge change that's gone on lately.
Interesting. That's really interesting. And we've kind of seen that mirrored in other inspections kind of in the real estate world. Appraisals are kind of following a very similar suit. So it's interesting, but it's not surprising, I guess.
Yeah, it's one thing with the closings. If we do have that appraisal prior to binding and closing on the home, then we can make sure that it matches up because of that cost to rebuild number on that appraisal. We'll make sure that that number matches up prior to that as well. So,
And for all of the viewers out there, the cost to rebuild is basically, as far as the financing side, that's what we're concerned about when we are having our clients work with the insurance provider. And that's the magic number kind of when you're shopping for your homeowner's insurance policy. You have to have the cost to rebuild. It's not always the cost to purchase the home, but if something catastrophic were to happen, we have to have enough policy to cover, to build that house back to its current state. So when Marcia, Trish, and myself are saying cost to rebuild, that's just kind of what that actually means.
yeah, and just to touch, the cost to rebuild is just the cost to rebuild your home. It doesn't include the location or the land that the property sits on. So a lot of people get confused with that number, that they bought their home for one price, but we're only insuring it for this much. And the good thing about our policies is even though we have a certain number, we also have that additional 50% clause built into our home policies. So if they ever do need to go over that rebuild amount, there is an additional 50% of their replacement cost built in, which is
So they've got a
awesome.
safety net.
Yeah, yep.
That is terrific. Good. Sometimes I hear buyers ask, well, is it, if I do the original materials or today's materials, if they're talking about insuring an older home, does that make a difference with the policies?
It depends what materials they want. Like, so say if they have like an older home with plaster walls, and plaster is not really like a thing anymore. So that's kind of hard to like say, well, yeah, we can rebuild it with the plaster. We usually either rebuild it to make it the same or better. So if they had plasters and the walls need to be replaced, we're going to replace them with an upgrade of the drywall. So sometimes that if they want the original, because I know like a lot of older homes have that antique feel, you can definitely get that, but we're just trying to replace it how it was before anything was wrong with it, if not better.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Good answer. So other historic home issues that do come up during inspections and that may affect insurance are quirks like knob and tube wiring electricity, or maybe foundational issues, a basement that hasn't been waterproofed ever in its 80 to 100-year lifespan so far, things like that. How does insurance treat those?
So the good thing about our agency is we're independent agents. So we have multiple companies that we can put a risk through. So if one company decides, hey, we're not going to accept this because of the wiring, then we have another company that will accept it. It's a little bit of give and take. Some companies have certain underwriting rules and some don't. So it just is finding the right home for that homeowner's policy.
Okay, that's good. Very good to know. People are often very scared about that knob and tube not being insurable. It's another myth that pervades the real estate world in the Baltimore area.
It is huge myth.
Yes. So what are some other, I guess, some touchy areas on homes that you're looking to insure when a new buyer is coming in?
So we don't really have touchy, like it's not hard for us to insure a home as long as it's in pretty much good condition, which they typically are if somebody's purchasing it. Um, and a lot of it will go through the inspection report. They kind of touch on all of that before it even comes to our end. So I mean, as long as they are trying to work with a certain price range to meet their loan and everything like that, we'll kind of work with them, walk them through the steps. Any extra things that they want to put on the policy, we'll offer them all of it. It's kind of a policy tailored to them. And if as long as that they want A, B, and C covered, we'll cover A, B, and C.
That's great. So I could ask you about another specific thing, but I think I know the answer already because you've said it so many times. Trees, oftentimes there are very mature trees around these historic homes because the lot is so old and everything.
Mhm.
Is there a proximity that the tree, is it better for a tree to be farther away in terms of the insurance rates that a client might get, or have the tree trimmed back, or I don't know.
Yeah, so trees don't matter with the rate of the homeowner's policy. The only thing with the trees is it's more about property line, because if a tree is, say, on the county property as opposed to your property, it's when it comes to like when it falls and neighbors and everything like that, that's when it gets a little bit more complicated. But in regards to the rate for your home, the tree has nothing to do with it whatsoever. Mhm.
That is nice to know.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
So being an independent agent, you can kind of shop multiple providers and different companies, and it sounds like insure almost anything. Is that kind
Yep.
of what I'm hearing?
Pretty much, yeah. So if there's a problem, we'll make sure that we get the problem and we will shop it around to any company, try to get you the best rate and make sure that you are going to closing.
Is there anything else people can do to save? You said to kind of shop around and get the best rate. Is there any, I know like maybe bundling, or is there anything else they can kind of look for to save themselves a few bucks?
Yeah, so bundling is going to be your best option.
Mhm.
And because of the pandemic, everybody's not driving. We have great programs for if you bundle your home and your auto, you're going to get extra discounts on the auto policy, which is also going to reflect on your home. So you'll get that lower rate. Our home savings is typically about 30% if you bundle, which is a huge savings. I've seen policies go down $300-400 with just bundling. So sometimes their auto policy is basically paid for halfway, at least most of the time. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mhm.
What about like an alarm system? Are there any things like that? Like does getting an alarm system or anything like that save you on homeowners?
Yes. So any central alarm system that's monitored by a company, you'll get in a system on a discount for having, like, say a lot of people have rings, you'll get a discount if it's monitored by yourself, but the discount is larger if it's monitored by another company that's watching it for fire and burglar.
Hmm.
We also have additional discounts if there's sprinklers in your home. You also get discounts if, say, you are about to buy your home and you know that the roof needs to get done and they're going to redo the roof before you close. You'll get a discount for that new roof. You'll get a discount for any updates to your electric, your plumbing, your HVAC. Any new updates to the home will be discounted on the home policy because if it's newer, there's a less of a chance of something going wrong with it.
Everything's risk-based. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Great news. So even homeowners, not just new buyers, ought to be checking in with their insurance agent. How often would you say?
I would say every renewal, every year, make sure that everything's up to par because a lot of people do renovations in their home and don't tell their insurance agents. So they have a huge section of their home that they've remodeled that's not being included in their updated reconstructive cost of the home. So every renewal, I would always say check into it, make sure that everything's up to date. Make sure that your rate's still up to par and just yeah, that would be my best advice is every renewal because you get the paperwork, you have all your coverages and everything right in front of you.
Terrific. Yeah,
Mhm.
great advice. And who doesn't love to save and make sure that they are totally covered on their policy and their updates for sure.
Exactly.
Well, you have
Awesome.
to have homeowners insurance. There's no kind of way around it. It's so important that it's required by law,
Mhm.
and your mortgage company collects for it and pays it on your behalf so that
Yeah.
it never goes uninsured. So you know, definitely shop it. Shop it every year and make sure you're not overpaying.
Yep. Because rates are always changing constantly. They're always up, always down. So you'll never know unless you just, look around for every once in a while, every renewal, whenever you can.
That's great.
Mhm.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to cover today?
No, I think we've covered everything, Craig.
Like I said, from the mortgage side, it's pretty standard. As long as you can make sure that you're covering the cost to rebuild,
Mhm.
your lender will be happy. But there might be some more things that you want to add onto your home, especially if it's an older home. So definitely talk to somebody like Marcia. She's an independent broker. She can shop on your behalf and kind of do all the heavy lifting for you. She's a great resource. So we're going to post Marcia's contact information in the comments below. Feel free to reach out to her directly or leave a comment below if you have any questions. But as always, I'm Craig Collins. I'm with Sierra Pacific Mortgage. And this is Trish May, Keller Williams. And we were so happy to have Marcia Patterson join us today as
Thank
our
you.
resident homeowners insurance expert. So thanks again for watching, everybody, and we'll see you soon.